You have my
Oh,
bow.
careful.
Salure Denuri.
Swift.
For Aradel! Quiver and quake! Swift and steady.
We
Hunting
must move
season
on.
begins.
You have my
If it
bow.
bleeds, I can kill it.
Salure
Give me
Denuri.
a target.
For Aradel! Trust our aim.
We must move on.
Incoming!
Swift and steady.
You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Swords ready!
For Aradel!
Reinforce!
We must move on.
Wits beyond measure!
Salure Denuri. We must move on. You have my bow.
Swift.
For the Queen!
Salure Denuri.
For Aradel! To the
If it
vanguard!
bleeds, I can kill it.
We must move on.
Give me a target. Incoming! Time is mana.
Oh, careful.
You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Got that power. Swords ready!
For Aradel!
Swift. Wind.
We must move on.
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
You have my bow.
Give me a target. Reinforce!
Salure Denuri.
For Aradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Swift.
Incoming!
Salure Denuri.
Wits beyond measure!
For Aradel!
If it bleeds, I can kill it. Swords ready! Give me a target.
We must move on. You have my bow.
Oh, careful.
Salure Denuri.
Hunting season begins. Trust our aim. Onward! For Aradel!
Swift.
We must move on.
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
You have my bow.
Swift and steady.
Salure
Give me
Denuri.
a target.
For Oradell!
We must move on. You have my bow.
For Oradell! Hunting season begins.
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Calm and careful.
Reinforce!
For Oradell! Swift and steady.
We must move on.
Swift.
You have my bow.
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
For Oradell!
We must move on.
Give me a target. Swords ready!
You have my bow. Salure Denuri. We must move on.
Reinforce!
You have my bow.
I've got that power.
Salure Denuri.
For Oradell!
We must move on. You have my bow.
For Oradell!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri. We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradell!
Swords ready!
We must move on. You have my bow.
For Oradell!
We must move on.
Reinforce!
You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Incoming!
For Oradell!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Trust our aim. For Oradell!
Swords ready!
The vanguard!
Calm and careful.
For the queen! To the vanguard!
Reinforce!
We must move on. You
Onward!
have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For the queen! For Oradell!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Incoming!
And I Evelyn.
Salure Denuri.
For Oradell! And I Evelyn.
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Swords
Salure
ready.
Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my
Reinforce.
bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
His mana. Incoming!
Salure Denuri.
Swift.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Swift and steady. Trust our aim.
We must move on. You have my bow.
Leads, I can kill it. Give me its heart.
Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
Swords
We must move on.
ready.
And our Evelyn.
You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Evelyn. Honor to serve. Red sun For Oradel!
You have my bow.
Incoming!
Salure Denuri. We must move on.
Calm and careful.
You have my bow.
Stands.
Salure Denuri.
Song of death.
Swift.
For Oradel! Honor to serve.
We must move on. You have my bow.
Swords
Salure
ready.
Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Swift and steady.
Salure Denuri.
Reinforce!
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel! Hunting season begins. And our Evelyn.
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Swords ready!
For Oradel!
We must move on.
Reinforce!
You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
If it bleeds, I can kill
We
it.
must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
Incoming!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Swords ready!
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Hunting season begins.
And our evening.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
Reinforce!
We must move on. You have my bow.
Red sun rises.
Salure Denuri.
Swift.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Oradel!
Salure Denuri.
Incoming!
Red sun rises. For Oradel!
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
We must move on. You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
Swords ready!
For Oradel!
Song of Gale. We must move on.
Calm and careful.
You have my bow. Salure Denuri.
That stands.
Swift. Wind.
Song of Gale.
Reinforce!
For Oradel!
We must move on. You have my bow.
For Oradel!